the Xbox One. Now, I'm going to just state a few things here before this starts. One is I completely meant for this load order to be modified. If you want to disable slash delete or add in a few mods, as long as they're compatible, go right ahead. Obviously, it's your load order, you can do what you want to do. Second of all is I was actually inspired to make this video by another YouTuber who I saw doing a similar thing, where they just compiled a load order, tested it, and posted it to YouTube of a good graphical load order. And third, some of these mods may be compatible with mods you download, so just make sure you make a list and try to check out things and see how they're going. And if your game crashes, we'll try moving around your load order or try disabling mods that interfere with each other. I will also be putting the link to the original video that I got inspired from and a Dropbox link that will take you down to a load order arrangement page where you can figure out how you should arrange your load order. So, let's go ahead and jump into the mods. Alright, so obviously the first mod is Skyrim Special Edition Patch, USSEP for short. So USSEP, if you've been living under a rock, it basically just patches stuff. That's its point. The mod is there to patch, but it's such a useful mod, and it patches a lot of game-breaking bugs, or just bugs that shouldn't be in the game and Bethesda never patched. You want to make sure this is at the tippy top of your load order. The mod author says right there at the bottom, after installing the mod, move it all the way to the top of your load order. That is important. You definitely want to do that. Even the Dropbox link will tell you to put these kind of patch, fix, mods, things on the very top. So, moving on to our next mod, we have SkyHUD. Now, you can choose, if you even want a HUD mod, you can choose which HUD preset you want. I went with the vanilla preset here, which basically makes things smaller and fixes the spacing. But another good one is the Dissonance and Oblivion preset. I really like those, as well as the Barbarian preset, but keep in mind that the Barbarian SkyHUD preset, you cannot see Magicka at all, because it isn't made for mages. So, you know, choose wisely. I personally recommend Dissonance, but I, in this case, went with the vanilla preset version. So moving on to JK's Skyrim. JK's Skyrim is a mod that basically just enhances the cities, makes them look better, it adds new items, it just feels more immersive, and it goes along with the whole theme of the town. Like in Riverwood, there's more docks and stuff, which makes sense. And it just adds things into cities and makes them look better. You can replace this with Divine Cities. However, I've heard a lot of people say that Divine Cities absolutely messes with their load order and they can't run it without the game crashing. This is a pretty good alternative. I have used both mods, and I can perfectly fine run both mods. I don't know with this load order, but you can go ahead and experiment and try. This is your load order after all. So, just to get a flora mod in, we have Lush Overhaul. This mod edits the meshes of trees, plants, etc., and makes them more lush. It works with Skyrim, Graphic Overhaul, Vivid Weathers, Project Hippie, Trees, LOD, Snow, and Realistic Water too. So it actually works with all of the graphical enhancement mods that we have in this load order. I'm not sure if it works with Obsidian Weathers. I'm not sure if it works with Obsidian Weathers, but you can experiment and try. Just remember to save your game if things get out of hand. So next we have Ordinator. Ordinator Perks of Skyrim is an awesome mod that basically adds in perks and rearranges them and fixes perks. The whole reason it came about was to just make the perk system better. Every skill tree has more perks in it now. The perks are cooler, and there are some really unique perk ideas in here. For instance, in the smithing tree, there is a Dwarven auto turret, which I've never personally used, but my friend says it's pretty cool. So, moving on, we have the mod Your Own Thoughts. This mod basically changes most, if not all, the second-person messages and texts in the game, and makes them in first person. So, for instance, instead of saying, if you quick save with this mod, it'll say progress quickly scribbled, as, you know, you saving, because reasons, I guess. And the normal game, if you can't fast travel, it'll tell you you cannot fast travel here. or something along the lines of that. And this mod basically changes it to I cannot fast travel here. It makes it first person instead of second person. Very basic mod, but I like it, as it isn't required. It's super small anyway, so why not? Moving on, we have character creation overhaul, created by Cyclonix. For some reason, I mentioned the mod author in this one. Don't know why, but whatever, now you know who's created by. So this mod, and I'm going to read the description here. The character creation overhaul finally brings back the birth signs, classes, specialization, and favorite attributes to Skyrim. No more boring cookie-cutter characters. More choices, again. Whereas vanilla Skyrim only provided you with 10 options for starting characters, excluding customizing their appearance, character creation overhaul allows you for 200,029,320 unique character combinations. Best of all, CCO is built for maximum compatibility with other mods, i.e. alternate start, live another life, and works with new characters and existing characters alike. So there you go. It allows you to select birth sign and basically do the things that you could do in the previous Elder Scrolls games. It's a neat mod. I would recommend downloading this one. The next one is Left Hand Rings Complete. So this one is very simple. It adds left-hand rings into the game. You can make these under the jewelry section like you could every other ring. It just has little brackets that say left on it, so you'll know if it's a left-hand ring. This mod allows you to basically have 2 rings on at a time, which with enchantments can be a little overpowered, but I mean, I think this is a really immersive mod, and I think this mod actually makes Skyrim more immersive. But you do as you please. If you don't want this mod, you don't have to. So here we get into the heavy graphics section of the load order. So this is where most of the space goes. All of the other ones were fairly small, not very big. These ones are a lot more intense, as we're going to be focusing on graphics. So here we have the entire graphics pack, bundle, basically. You have graphics pack, then assets 1 and 2, and then you also had an add-on for SMIM performance, a static mesh improvement mod. You'll see why. It's pretty obvious. So, I believe that this is the best graphics mod out there. It's giant, but it adds a ton of new things. It really just it's nice. It's big, but it's definitely worth it. Then we come to our kind of second graphic bundle pack. We have the Noble Skyrim mod. So we have clutter, small town, landscapes, and main cities. The mod author claims the aim of this mod is to give Skyrim's architecture a somehow younger and cleaner look by replacing the original game and textures with new custom ones. So every single one of these mods replaces the mentioned assets with new custom ones. So the small towns replaces the small town textures with new textures and custom textures. Same thing with landscape, you get new and custom textures. I've also heard this one can be performance hindering and crashing. So if you want a landscape or city mod, a good one would be Skyland Landscape and just Skyland in general. I believe Skyland can replace all 3 of these except for clutter, but I'm not sure. So once again, moving on, we have the Static Mesh Improvement mod. As of earlier, I mentioned that we are going to be downloading these back because we do have this mod. This mod is a very big mod, but you will not regret downloading this mod. Basically, if you don't know what this does, it makes the static meshes in the game appear 3D instead of 2D. So ropes on poles now appear 3D, and they have better textures. It's an awesome mod. It works with a lot of furnitures. Ropes, as I said earlier, it's a neat mod. I personally cannot go without this mod. I think it's a really cool mod. And, of course, it's big, but it's definitely worth a download. And also, as the mod author says, it has an Xbox One performance cost warning. Personally, for me, I don't get any performance drop from this mod. But I've seen other people who can't run this mod and have to run other mods. Another mesh improvement mod is Divine Meshes, or the Divine Static Meshes or something. Basically the same thing, except it's a lot smaller. I believe it's only 200 megabytes, and it should cause your system to run better. So getting on to the weather and graphics mod, we have Vivid Weathers, Definitive Edition. That's very hard to say. This gives new cloud textures, new weathers, and it also improves the lighting, which is why we want to have this mod, for the lighting effect. The lighting with this mod looks awesome, and you can also customize the bloom, saturation, contrast, etc. You can customize a lot with a book that you can find in your inventory after downloading the mod. It's a must download for me. But if you do not want this mod, you can replace it with Obsidian Weathers. I believe it does the same thing, except it's different. However, a mod before mentioned, let's see if I can find it. One of these mods, Lush works with Skyrim Graphic Overhaul, Vivid Weathers, and all the other stuff. So I don't know if Lush Overhaul will work with Obsidian Weathers, so be careful on that. Just experiment. Like I said a million times, and I'm going to say this throughout the video, it's your load order. Do what you want. So then we have Realistic Water 2. I love this mod. This mod modifies the lakes, rivers, oceans in the game to have new ambient sound effects, and ponds are silent. The volume of waterfalls and rapids have been increased. Icebergs and ice chunks will sometimes crack and gurgle, etc., etc. This mod does so much, as well as improving the textures of water, which is, you know, the reason why it makes the water textures look a lot better, and the turbulent and calm water textures look really good in my opinion. Now moving on to a map mod, we have a quality world map, Vivid with Stone Roads. Now there are different variations of a quality world map mod. This style that I chose was Vivid with Stone Roads, but you can actually choose a different style. So this just makes the holes more distinguishable, and it gives it a new style, as well as you can vividly see the roads. Okay, so moving on to audio, we have the Immersive Sounds Compendium. This adds a lot of different sounds. It completely replaces a lot of different sounds of the game, such as running with armor on, running with heavy armor and light armor, picking up gold, potions, etc. It just changes audio. That's why I downloaded it. That's why you should too. It's a very basic mod and pretty self-explainable, but if you want to test out this mod, go ahead. It's a pretty neat mod. Moving on, we have Skyrim music. Now, this is my personal preference. This is not at all required. In fact, like I said, your load order, do what you want. But I really like this music mod. It isn't over the top, and it sounds Skyrim-y. It sounds Nordic, and it is inspired by Jeremy Soul's work, who is the obviously the author of a lot of these Skyrim themes in the game, such as Secunda. That banger. Yeah, everybody knows what that is. Okay, moving on. So the last two mods are just something that I decided to throw in here. I really like these two mods, as well as Bandolier. But here we have Black and Steel armor and weapons. This mod is really cool. It basically just adds a new steel armor and weapon in the game that are black and steel. I believe you can find this under the hardened steel section or somewhere around in that area, and it's a really neat looking mod. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's just an armor mod. Pretty self-explanatory. Moving on, we have Lilith's Sickle, custom scythes and daggers. So yes, you heard me right. Scythes and daggers. These scythes and daggers look awesome, and I don't know how many times I can say scythe, but I can probably say it a lot before my brain starts to shut down. Anyway, this is an awesome mod, and it adds some incredible weapons in the game. These are all custom modeled by Lilith, that person, and these can be made with under the Daedric section, and they are expensive, but they have high damage output, so these are very late game weapons. And it includes sickles and scythes and daggers or whatever. I don't know, it's a cool weapon mod, you should get it. Okay, moving on to our last mod in the load order, we have Bandolier bags and pouches. This one is pretty self-explanatory, and you might even already have one downloaded. Basically, it allows you to make bandoliers and pouches at the tanning rack. Whenever you equip these give you carry weight bonuses. So as you can see, the items give you extra carry weight: small pouches, -25, satchels, boxes, and bags, -50, bandolier, -75, and large bandolier, -100. Each gives their own respective thing, and they can also be they can come in different colors. So they can come in black leather, light leather, regular leather, and, just, it's neat. You should go get it. So, that is all of the mods for our load order. This is a gameplay / graphics mod load order, and Assets 2 has had 51 different versions of it. Just gonna bring that up. That's crazy. So here's a quick scroll through all the mods again. As you can see, it is heavy graphics alteration, but the game looks great. So I'm going to show you what the game looks like. So here it's about sunset, sunrise. I'm not quite sure. Looks like it's about 8 p.m. So it's about dusk right now. So the game runs pretty well. As you can see, no stuttering at all. The game runs nicely. The water looks great. It's just a graphics mod. It improves the look of your game by a lot. You can see a lot of this stuff is added in by JK's Skyrim. So as you can see over here, all these docks and boats and stuff. We are in Riverwood, just walking around, and I'll just do a quick tour of Riverwood. If you think this is a bit over the top, Divine Cities is your go-to mod. But I think this is perfect. It alters pretty much every town and city. So Whiterun, Riverwood, Solitude, everything, basically. It is a really nice mod. And that's basically it for today's video. Look at those incredible static meshes. Your day better. Ignore what I said before that. And I really hope you enjoy these mods. I tried to compile my own personal list to bring to you guys that I will play with. I know these are all mods that I'm going to use in my playthrough. And yes, I have tested these for days. I've been using these mods for days. And I have not crashed a single time. And I am not joking. As long as you lay out the mod in the right way, using the Dropbox link below, which will tell you how to lay out your different mods, or you can just follow my layout, because my layout works really well. I don't have any lag or crashing. It works well. That's all I can say. It just works, okay? It just works. So, feel free to rate the video. I would say subscribe, which I actually technically just did, but whatever. You're your own free person. Do what you will. And, yeah. So that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you did, I, again, sincerely hope you enjoy the mods. Goodbye, everybody.